Three, two, one. Hi there, Mormons Building Bridges. Thanks for tuning into this hugging booth tutorial video. We're going to get you all the answers and all the information that you need to be able to host your own hugging booth in your own Pride Festival in the city near you. Joining us, we've got the head MBB hugging booth mentor, Vicki Wimmer-Johnson. Next to her, we have Nina Brostrom, who is the assistant hugging booth mentor, and then we have Erica Munson, who is all things to all Mormons building bridges and the font of all wisdom. So with those introductions, what we're going to do is Nina is going to play the role of somebody who has never hosted a hugging booth in her life, but she has lots of enthusiasm to do it, but doesn't know how to do it. And she's going to ask all the questions, hopefully, that you, everybody watching us, might have the most common sense questions that come to your mind as you're trying to consider whether or not you want to host a hugging booth. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Nina to ask her first question. Then I will also ask questions as we go to help clarify any questions or concerns. Actually, before we go to Nina, let's hand it over to Vicki and Erica to give us a little bit of background in general about the general ideas of how hugging booths work.
I'll start. So hugging booths work by, we just set up a booth at a Pride Festival, and that includes several steps to get to that point. But once you've got there, you just organize people to come, and we stand there and it says Mormons Building Bridges, and we hug people. There's a big sign that says free hugs, and we just hug people. It's not complicated. They come and come and find us, or we stand there and say, would you like a free hug?
And after they get the free hug, they get a free sticker.
That's right, a sticker that says hugged by a Mormon Building Bridges.
Yeah, right.
Great, sounds pretty simple. So Nina, your turn now to ask all the questions that anybody would naturally ask about. Okay, so that sounds great. Get people together and we hug at a Pride Festival, but how do you do that?
So I guess my first question is the booth specifically. Is it like an actual booth? Do I go purchase something? What is the booth made of? I don't even know if that makes sense.
What a great question. So most Pride festivals set up the booths. Everything is set up. Some Pride festivals are you bring your own booth, and you will know all of that when you go on the website, your Pride Festival website in your area, your town, your city, whatever that is for you, and the Pride community, the Pride Festival person tells you all of those details. So yes, most of the time it's set up for you. Sometimes you have to do it.
Do I create the signage though for the Mormons Building Bridges, that portion? Will I be in charge of the signage?
No, we will send that to the person who fills in the application. We send it to them.
So the signs and the stickers will be sent to me when I sign up?
The stickers you get to print yourself, but the signs get sent to you.
Okay.
Good questions.
So
how many people are usually in the booth with me?
Erica, do you want to do that?
Yeah, that really depends, I suppose, on how big the Pride Festival is. I think you can have, my sense is like at least 3 people. What do you think, Vicki, at any given time?
3 is a great number. Okay.
3 is a magic number, actually.
Yeah,
as we know.
it is.
Yeah.
It is. Sometimes you have a lot more, especially in Utah. We get a lot of people there to hug, and in Arizona, but sometimes it's a lot less. And I love it when there's less. It's quiet and you have a lot of conversation that way. I like those times.
Yeah.
Excuse me, what?
If you have a lot of people who want to hug, which is wonderful, but you just want to make sure that it doesn't look like this scary crowd of impenetrable Mormons that are going to come and hug you.
Okay.
There needs to be,
And that was that was going to be my next question. How about children? Are there children involved? If I want to involve them, or do you keep it to adults?
That's a great question. Okay, so certain Pride festivals are very family friendly, and I encourage people to bring their children. You know, those of us who would actually go to a Pride festival, then our children we've had children at several of our booths, and it worked out great. They just enjoy being around and watching the people and talking, and I've had a few children who like to do the hugging.
So, do we think with the policy and everything, do we ever get a negative response? Are we worried with some of the policy stuff that's been in the national media? Are people going to be confrontational with us, or could we be on the receiving end of negativity from some of the people in the parade? Like, is that something that happens?
There's always the possibility, and there have been experiences with people who are negative, and it's actually it's a great opportunity to just love someone and listen to them. If somebody's obviously being belligerent, then I would say you pull away. Vicki, you'll maybe have something to add to this, but it's really important to be sensitive and to listen and to not feel that you have to defend anything. You don't have to defend anything. You're there just to love, and you're there to be with people in their pain if that's something that they want to share with you. Vicki, what would you say?
Oh, those are excellent answers. Nina, we have a statement of purpose this year. It's an actual document, and it will be part of our website, and also you and I will share it on Facebook and share it in each event. And one of the things it talks about is exactly those times when somebody wants to if they want to confront us for those things like the policy. I think the most important thing to remember this year is that that's such an important thing to me and you, the policy, because we live this, but most people don't know about it, or they really do respond to that love. So that our statement of purpose will talk about do's and don'ts, like don't proselytize, and don't give the impression that you speak for the church, and don't get into politics or rehash. But we do listen. I love what Erica said. We do listen and let them tell us if something hurt them or why that hurt them, and then you can reflect it back to them and just let them talk. Sometimes I have seen people talk for over an hour to one person, one hugger talking to one person for over an hour. I've seen it more than once.
Huh. So how is that, the love received with your ward and church members and leaders? Are they as loving and are they feeling the love, or is there a negative reaction among your ward and church members that are aware of your participation usually?
I have had no negativity, only just they don't talk about it. If there's, and so then I can sometimes worry that that's negativity. But if my bishop asked me about it, I just let my exuberance for the project come out and told him the truth, and he listened. It was really fascinating. And over the years since I started doing it, he would talk to me about it a little bit more, and he would talk about pride with me, and that was really nice. I liked that.
Yeah, I've never had anybody be negative to my face. Wards can be kind of little small towns where people who don't like what you're doing talk behind your back. But that's life. That's how humans are. I try to keep my bishop and stake president really updated on what I'm doing, and I've never had any negative response from them about the hugging booth.
Do you have suggestions for people of how to, I know this is more of a personal thing, but how to explain that to your kids and keeping it in line with what they're taught at church and participating in something like that?
You mean say how to help your kids understand we're going to this hugging booth today?
And then especially kids perhaps in Utah and stuff, what they're hearing at school and at church and what people are telling them, how do you explain that to them when it seems contradictory?
I love that question.
talked about, there are a whole lot of primary songs that work really well. I'm trying to be like Jesus, and that's what we're doing. And Jesus reached out to the people that felt alone and people who were different. And that's the kind of thing I've talked about.
That's great.
People have lots of questions like that, though, Nina. Those are really, really
They
good
are.
questions. That it scares people sometimes, because they wonder how to handle it. But the best answer I can give you is what Erica said. In addition to that, is to watch a child's reaction to being there. A Pride Festival is a celebration. It's fun. It's colorful. People are there to have fun, and children, they just enjoy that. They don't worry about it nearly as much as we do.
But Vicki, don't you think that perhaps I don't have young kids, but if I were contemplating bringing my younger child, I would try to do a little research in terms of like, what are the booths that are around us? What are the booths that you see from across the way?
That's a great idea.
I think there could be some things that are inappropriate for kids. I also think that you don't, I personally, I think twice about having a child in the evening, because as time goes by at a Pride Festival, people tend to be drinking more and more. So, but.
Okay.
Thank you. Great points.
I can't think of any more questions off the top of my head.
So I can. So I'm going to be more the nuts and bolts person. So this has all sounded very nice, and it's helped me sort of emotionally and sort of feel comfortable with church and kids. But I still don't know how do I do this? So I saw your photos online, and there were people clearly hugging other people in front of a big banner that said "free hugs." But how do I do this? What are the nuts and bolts of where do I start?
Okay, so the website on the actual Mormons Building Bridges website.
What's that URL?
That is mormonsbuildingbridges.org.
Okay.
So if you go there, at the top, there's the different areas on our website, the different pages, and one of them will be hugging booths, and it takes you to why, a list. Why would you want to do this? Why do we do it? Some general ideas about the reasons, and then there's a link to our list of how you plan one, and what basically it's so that you can read what Nina and I would take you through. Okay. The steps that we would take you through of how to contact your Pride organization, how to look it up, how to decide, how to figure out, how are you gonna get the money to do this hugging booth. That sometimes stops people, right? So those are in the actual list that you actually made for us, Kendall. Thank you for making that. And then there's also a link to the application. Okay, and the application is just simple. Let's see, how many questions? 4 questions, and then some details about it. And you fill that out, and then it comes to us, and then Nina and I will, or one or the other of us will contact you, and we go from there. And I love walking with somebody as they do it. I love talking to you. I love giving you my phone number, and I'm very willing to talk about it and answer all the same questions again, one at a time. I love
Great.
talking to people about it.
Thank you.
Vicki
That's
is really awesome at that.
very encouraging. So, yeah, I won't have to do this alone. So again, all I have to do is go to the website, click on the tab at the top of the page that says Hugging Booths. Once I'm on the Hugging Booth page, there is a link to check out the checklist of things to do to host a Hugging Booth. And then one of the first steps is to click on the application and submit the application.
Right.
And then, do you guys approve of the application? I mean, it is an application, so it's not, right? I mean, you guys have to approve.
Yes, we will approve it. I mean, have we ever said no to one, Erica?
No, if you agree to abide by all of the guidelines which are listed on the checklist, yes or no? Am I right on that?
The guidelines.
It's on the website, yeah.
Yes, we do have a list of guidelines.
Okay.
Right. But I don't think it's actually on that checklist. But there is a link to it, I think.
So I have to agree to abide by what guidelines?
Well, one of the guidelines is that you would adhere to MBB signage standards, which would mean there's a whole list of those, but it's basically primary songs, quotes from primary songs or scriptures.
So there's a list of things of different kinds of signs that I can make, is what you're saying.
Exactly.
Okay.
And
I shouldn't make any signs that are not on that list.
Yes.
And
right.
if I want to, can I ask you for special dispipation on a particular sign?
You can ask anything you want to ask.
But I might not be approved, right? It'll
exactly.
Okay. So I fill out the application, you guys approve of it, and then you said there's something about money involved to host a booth.
Right.
What does that mean?
That's the Pride Festival will take money for it.
They will charge money.
Exactly.
Pride Festival in my town charges me money to use one of their booths at their festival.
Yes.
For Mormons Building Bridges. Okay. And what does that usually cost?
It depends on the city. A more expensive city, around $500.
Wow.
And there are much less expensive cities.
Okay.
In fact, this is maybe rare, I don't know, but somebody in Idaho wanted to do one last year. They were really excited about it, but when they called, for that individual, it was cost prohibitive, and they told the pride coordinator that, and the pride coordinator said, well, we want you here, so don't worry about the money. And so they waived the whole fee in that one instance in that town in Idaho that was trying really hard to get their Pride Festival established.
Right.
Which, that.
So it's definitely worth it to follow up, even if I don't think I can pay the big fee, to follow up and see if it's negotiable.
That's what I think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And I would totally encourage anybody and hold their hand while they did it, even try and help them,
So, and then in terms of payment, I just have to pay it, right? Or can I ask other people to help me pay for it?
Well, great question. We have decided this year to allow for some fundraising, but those are more specific things that Nina and I would talk to the coordinator, the person in that city. We would help them understand appropriate ways, because if they did it ways we like, then they can ask for it out on our Facebook wall.
Oh, okay. So if I
want
to host a hugging booth in my town and it costs $300 to get the booth rented, then I could do like a GoFundMe account if you guys approve of it, and then put it on the Mormons Building Bridges Facebook group wall and ask anybody anywhere in the world in Mormons Building Bridges to help pitch in to help me pay for that entry fee.
That is right. And
Okay.
Nina and I would even help promote it, and I would assume you and Erica also.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and
Go
Is
ahead.
there ever more than one Mormons Building Bridges booth per parade, or is it just one usually?
for festival, it's just one.
Okay. So if there's two people that don't know each other that each want to do it, you kind of team up?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
That would be awesome. You would love to have a team.
And so say that I'm in a place where I'm like, I don't know if I want to be in charge, but I definitely want to help, or if there's somebody else that wants to help or be co-in charge, how would I promote that? Could I just go onto the Mormons Building Bridges Facebook group wall and put a post saying, hey, I live in Anchorage, Alaska, and I want to host a Mormons Building Bridges hugging booth at my Pride Festival. Anybody else want to join me in doing this? Because I don't want to do it by myself. Could I do that?
Absolutely.
Great.
Yes, and I've seen that successfully work more than once.
Wonderful. And then will Mormons Building Bridges, like you guys have we have our, again, I'm taking the role of a potential participant. Would you guys help promote? So say I get my booth in Anchorage, Alaska, will you guys promote it? Or for example, would you put it on your mormonsbuildingbridges.org website so that other people can click on it and see that we're doing it in Anchorage?
Yes.
Or
yes.
Topeka?
And we'll create a Facebook event that you can then, so in that event, we create it in the Mormons Building Bridges page, okay? And then you can share it anywhere you want. You can share it on the Pride, the Pride Facebook page of your city. The more you share it, the more people that you invite and other people invite, the more publicity it gets. And then in that event, you give all the details, like how you are working out your schedule,
Mm-hmm.
where to meet, any details.
How to get in, where to park, all of it.
Yes, you can do it. You can use that. The more you post in there, the more people pay it, the more it goes out into the world.
Great. So we have to wrap up right now. So a hugging booth for Mormons Building Bridges means that you go to a Pride festival that is held in whatever city near you. You book or you rent one of their booth slots. You put up a big banner that Mormons Building Bridges sends to me that says free hugs. And they also send me a design so that I can print out little stickers that say hugged by a Mormon Building Bridges. And I stand there with other fellow Mormons from my ward and stake and community in our booth. And we stand there and we wait for people to walk by and we offer them, we say, would you like a hug? And if they say yes, we give them a hug and we give them a little sticker to wear that says, hugged by a Mormon Building Bridges. And that is, in essence, that's a hugging booth for Mormons Building Bridges. Is that right?
Yep.
Great. Any famous last words?
Just let us know. Let us know you want to do it.
Are you sold, Nina?
I'm sold.
Sold. Okay. Thank you for joining, everybody. We hope that you find the application process quick and easy.